Well, good morning everyone. We're no longer in Clovis, New Mexico, but I sure hope you enjoyed those two vlogs. We have taken off. We've made it all the way over to Plano, Texas. Yep, we're in a different state, about 6.5 hours away. And today we're going to do a special vlog. And I mean, it's kind of a really special vlog. Well, there's one famous thing here in Plano that probably everyone knows about that's ever been in this area, because it was the biggest TV show for 13 years. Everyone cared about who shot JR, and I was named after one of the characters on the show, Jordan Lee. My mom watched this show obsessively. I remember watching this with her when I was growing up every Friday night at 10 p.m. after the Dukes of Hazzard. And today we're going to the Southfork Ranch. We are going to where they filmed Dallas. Who wants to go? Let's go. Oh, by the way, we have a friend joining us. Yeah. The guy who made that intro that you just saw to open this show, Jeff Block, Creaties, he's coming with us. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Well, we've encountered rain, but they say it's supposed to stop within a half an hour and an hour, so we might wait it out a little bit before we go to the Southfork Ranch. I'm excited. Jeff, my man, you've never been on my channel, but everybody has to know who you are, because if you watch my channel, this is the gentleman. This is Creaties, the man who created both the intros that I use of me and Ja roaming the world. And in the name Creaties, you probably are obsessed with the 80s, so who better to come see Southfork Ranch, the epitome of 80s television, than you? Are you a Dallas fan?
Well, I'm talking about the city or the show?
Well, the show, because you live so close to here. I know this is like...
I've never been here.
Yeah, I know. How can this be your first time?
I don't know.
There's the Southfork Ranch. I guess what you would have branded cattle with. 356 episodes, 13 seasons, 2 comeback specials, a 2-hour finale of the entire series. JR being thought to be shot twice, Bobby thought to have been dead and it was all a dream. This show captivated the world. It was an over-the-top, dramatic, basically a soap opera in the evening time that did something different than what most primetime television did at the time, which was it had an ongoing storyline. It didn't just wrap up at the end of that episode and then when you went to the next episode it was all its own thing. This was a continuing storyline that people had to keep up with. And they say that if you had a restaurant back in the time that Dallas was on and you didn't have a television showing it on Friday or Saturday night, it was on at both times at different times. Actually, I believe it started on Saturday night and didn't do so well with the ratings because Love Boat and Fantasy Island was its competition. Then they moved it over to going on right after Dukes of Hazzard, and they had a lot of success. They said if you didn't have a television, you had an empty restaurant during the time Dallas was on. Well, there we go. There's the cast of villainous characters. I mean, almost everybody was a villain in their own way, starting with this Joker. Larry Hagman, what a character. I mean, in life and on the show. They said when they first started doing the show that like the pilot season, that was like 5 episodes, he took the whole cast out in like this hippied out van that he brought to Texas, and when he walked into the restaurant he goes, "Hey, I'm Larry Hagman, Major Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie. You got a table for me and my friends?" There's Linda Gray, who played his wife. For one season, walked away, and Donna Reed came in and took over her part, and it upset her so much she has to come back, and that kind of helped provoke the dream season, or that concept that it was all a dream. There is Jock, the patriarch, the dad of JR. There's our ranch hand, the beau hunk of the show. There's, well, maybe even Patrick Duffy could be considered that. That's Bobby. And Bobby's the one who raced in to save his ex-love in a car accident and died. And then we found out he was all a dream. He was actually taking a shower. And then, of course, Ken Kercheval, who played Cliff Barnes. The highlight of my life in those days was watching this show, because I always thought, because I'd seen it once, that he was always going to get thrown in a fountain. He was always the bad guy that just had the worst luck of all time. So let's go check out some Dallas. And then they did say that they did film the reboot TV series here as well. Looks like Jeff's figured out what I was wondering. Do we have to buy the hat to take the tour? I think it's almost like, an essential.
Yes. I'm afraid to be caught without one.
And I do believe they have JR's white hat here too. I'm excited to see that. So here's where our tour starts. Oh, look at that. Most of the cast's chairs. Look at that. There's Bobby. Charlene Tilton played Lucy. Jim Davis. What a crazy storyline that was when they when you found out that the ranch hand was actually an illegitimate son and he'd been having an affair with Lucy. And Victoria Principal, Robert Bel Geddes, Sue Ellen, or Miss Ellie, I mean. Linda Gray was Sue Ellen. And when this show was originally written, they didn't have the name Dallas yet. It was actually called Untitled Project for Linda Gray. And of course, the man that made the show happen. He's the reason they did the Who Shot JR. He wanted more money and wasn't willing to cave. They didn't know if they were going to give it to him or not, so they decided, well, let's just shoot him, and that gives us all summer to figure out what we're going to do next. Da 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 da. There are the footprints of Steve Canale. Of course, Victoria Principal, who basically became like an aerobics icon during this time. Oh yeah, Larry Hagman. Let's do the hands here. They said that the way that they got Bobby to come back to the show, because he actually requested to leave. And the way they got him back was Larry Hagman called him and asked him to come hang out over at his house. And when he showed up, he said, "Boy, you're stupid. You gave up the best job you ever had." He said, "Yeah, you're right." He goes, "Okay, let's get you back." There's Linda Gray. And that's not the original painting that was over the fireplace. That's a mock, a replica. There's a replica of JR's belt buckle. Look at that case. It says In Memoriam, Larry Hagman. There's his J.R. Ewing seat, his hat. There's the belt with the belt buckle that we were talking about. Wicked. There's his boots and an action figure. And he loved his drink, but they said when he found out he had a bad liver and got a replacement, when they came back to do the return shows, he wouldn't even allow liquor to be in the scenes where he would normally walk off and fix himself a drink. He wouldn't even pretend and wouldn't put it in the show. Look at that, the famous Who Shot JR. And then here we go. That's the gun. And of course it turned out to be JR's mistress who did the killing, well, the shooting. Here I am with the gun that shot JR. Here's his hat with a signed script.
To come to a show like this and be real successful.
And then some memorabilia from back then, the JR money. Man, what a mucky family tree this turned out to be. They're the two brothers. And of course Priscilla was on the show. It's on an interview with Charlene Tilton, said that when they decided to make the storyline where Ray Krebs is actually like an illegitimate son of Jock, that they could not air any of the episodes where Ray and Charlene Tilton playing Lucy Ewing were having an affair, because she would have technically then been his niece. There's Lucy's wedding dress with some pictures of her in it. You can see off to the side here, and then right down there. Here you can see when they were bringing it back. Well, they say the reason that he came back was because he thought that this was going to open up avenues for him to get great movie offers, and he just wasn't getting them, so this autograph's made out to the Southfork Ranch. And there you can see when he passed away in 2012. And there was a memoriam picture of his director, or his chair with the belt buckle on it. Another one of his hats and boots. Those are all signed scripts. See Larry's signature on them. So this is interesting. I was like, why do they have a gas grill here? And it says that during this time, gas grills were not the norm, and they were actually just being introduced at that time. So Dunkin' Gas Grills made a special one that they could use for the Ewing's residents to kind of help promote this new way of cooking, and it had all the little added extras that we would come to know. Look at the 80s guy nerding out over there. Sorry, Mom, I think I've entered a new family. Well, we've made it through the museum and the tour's about to start, so we are about to stand right there in front of that house. And I asked, I said, can we take photos and stuff? And they said, everything and everywhere. And I'm guessing that tractor right there with all the seats is our ride out to the ranch. This ranch is so big that when we passed by it, we noticed they had 5 gates. They said this was built for the 20th anniversary episode by the studio for the rodeo. They said that this corral was in the original show. There's the back of the house.
What are you doing today?
Wow, check this out.
Have a seat. Hi, how are you?
Let's go check out the Ewing bathroom.
Ewing Mansion.
Looking through the bar.
I understand every word.
Thank you, darling. Right. All right.
They said that this room would have originally been the garage.
Come out to the ranch, and they asked Joe if he might be interested in allowing Lorimar to film at the time for a little unknown show called Dallas. And Joe said absolutely not. He wasn't interested at all. So he asked them to leave, and they left. But 2 weeks later, the same gentleman returned. They couldn't stop thinking about this place. They knew it was the one, and when they came back, Joe was happier to see him because they brought the checkbook. You watched the show from the beginning like I did. First 5 episodes were filmed north of here, the Box Ranch, Frisco, Texas. The deal didn't work out. Mrs. Box got upset. They were ruining her shrubs and bushes. She told her husband, Clovis, she didn't care what they were paying. Get them out of there. So they had to scout for a new location. The reason this house was selected over all the others, that's because the producer at the time, Leonard Katzman, felt you could never take a bad picture from any angle of the outside of the house.
Now they did say that is the original glass table that they always ate their meals at right out by the pool.
Mr. Trippett, so you're gonna love this.
Take a look at the dining room.
It's all red and white.
There's the kitchen area. You can see it's all red and white. Wow. Is that the original painting?
It is not. The original painting was sold at Larry's auction when he died, and someone outbid us to the tune of $39,000. So I don't know who got that. Jock Ewing on the show from 1978
Jock's
until his
living
death
room.
in 1981. They actually filmed 2 reunion shows in this living room, Dallas Ward, the Ewings in 97, and the return to Southfork in 2004. So it has been used for filming in the past. It's actually in the aloe vera business. He supplies 95% of the aloe vera for the entire world. Company's called Forever Living Products. You notice this picture over here on the ground. It's normally hanging in the back. I drink 4 bottles of champagne daily on the set. Okay?
There's the front
They've stayed
entryway.
in touch over the years. Joe and Natalie are still living. They're in their 80s.
So they said that this was where they filmed Larry Hagman's death. They and Cliff went to the prison. They filmed that last episode here. So we're gonna go see Lucy's Yellow Rose bedroom and the Patrick Duffy Bobby room. There's Lucy's bedroom. They said that in real life, Charlene Tilton's daughter was just married here a couple of years ago. See that? Miss Lucy's request. Her bedroom stay off limits. Take a look at that. You can see the body outline from the death scene here. Wow. And then down here on the bottom, some broken fragments. They've still got some of the lighting. I think this was, they filmed the hotel scene for JR's death in here. There on the ground you can see the blood splatter too. Here we go into the Bobby room. Wow. The Bobby Ewing bedroom. Let's go check out his bathroom. Definitely not where the shower scene took place from the dream. Interesting story about that. They said to make sure that people didn't blow the surprise as to how Bobby comes back, they filmed a fake commercial with a whole different crew, and it was like an Irish Spring commercial, and they only used like 2 seconds of it, of Bobby turning around. But Patrick Duffy said in an interview, he's like, oh, we did close-ups of me holding the Irish Spring bar. We did a whole day of shooting so that the crew would never have any idea that it wasn't a real commercial. And that's how they were able to use that 2-second clip of him turning around in the shower. Now we're going upstairs.
And all the lamps are Waterford crystal, okay? No one lives here, no one has lived here since the original family left in 1984.
That's looking out the upstairs window balcony. They said they're in the process of getting this ready to open it up for people to stay here, kind of like an Airbnb type deal.
So starting June the 15th, we'll rent this out for overnight stays.
Nice. My mom will probably want to stay here then.
The ladies' bathroom is complete with the bidet. We'll go outside. You can go on out.
Ladies' bathroom. Whoa.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Look at that hot tub.
Jacuzzi in the his and her shower. And
I assume that means that's JR's toilet with the phone for business calls. There's JR. There's Sue Ellen. Now we're outside.
No longer a working ranch. Well, we have Texas Longhorns, paint horses, miniature horses on property. This balcony is famous. This is where Kristen Shepard, Sue Ellen's sister, was found floating in the pool. She's the one who shot JR the first time on the show. In real life, she's Mary Crosby, Bing Crosby's only daughter. The pool scenes were filmed here, but they used a lot of TV magic mirrors, wide-angle lenses, so we would think it was the Olympic-sized pool as we were watching the show. She drove the show. It's 1978 Lincoln Continental.
Oh, nice. We're going to go see Jock's car. They said that over here is where they always had the barbecues. Miss Ellie's barbecues.
So again, like with the pool, using wide-angle lenses and everything, they would play the theme song and roll the music over and over and over the film, so you'd think it was a great distance till you got to the front of the house. But you can look out and see we're pretty close to the road.
So the gate that's over there is the driveway that the Ewings always used.
$70,000 were cleaned above the dining room table, so this one's pretty dull and dirty. But we're going to get it cleaned up. I painted the crown molding gold, and that's where you'll find the third mirror on the mirror. Okay? So there you go. Sally Southfork, yeah.
This is right out the front door. What a great time here. I had an absolute blast. The tour guides here really know a lot of the background, which is cool because I did watch this growing up, but I kind of forget a lot of the stuff that happened to an extent, like episode by episode kind of things, but I grew up watching this with my mom every Friday, so I'm looking at this right now, just doing the Dude, this was probably better than I ever anticipated. This was a lot of fun, and we're not even done. We still get to roam the whole grounds on our own.
That's so much more 80s.
So dude, let's go check out the backyard. They actually have a weird kind of grave here in memorial to the people that have passed, and we got to see Jock's car. No joke, once again, one of the highlights of my trip, and I actually am taking off. So I'm not going to be doing any more Texas vlogs on this trip. So this was the last one right here at the J.R. Ewing, Jock Ewing, Dallas Southfork Ranch. Pretty awesome way to end it. Kind of blew my mind that she was telling us that the original owners of this kind of got tired of just the popularity of this show, so they sold the house, and that was in '84, like in the prime of this show, and that the production company, nobody bought it. It was a private owner bought it, and then he went bankrupt and sold it to the man who owns it now. And the guy who owns it now was smart enough and always had the idea of immediately, as soon as he got the property, he was going to turn it into what it is now. Tours, putting event centers for weddings and ballrooms and things like that. We've got a little gazebo on the premises, and we're heading over here because I want to take you over and show you where the driveway that we always saw them coming in was. Like I said, we saw 5 gates, so if you're trying to match it up and you come out here, it's gate 3. right down this driveway. That's our turnaround of them driving in. I wanted to come around the back because they did a lot of promotional photos from this angle, and I just thought, you know, literally right here is where I pointed out where the barbecue scenes were that they always had, the annual barbecue. But I wanted to show you this. Yeah, I have to get every angle or I might lose my family. My aunt and my mom might not ever forgive me for this, even though my mom's been here before. And of course they said since this was actually Miss Ellie's house, it wasn't Jock's house, it was her house, this was her yellow and white awning, so they've kept those. So now we're walking you guys over to where their little makeshift graveyard is. They've got tombstones for a couple of the cast members. Oh, look at that. That's rad. J.R. Ewing, the only deal he ever lost. Eleanor Southworth Ewing Farlow. Of course she got remarried. And there's Jock Ewing. Here we have Elena's cottage, the Braddock. One of the coolest aspects to this tour is after you do the tour, the 45 minutes where they just turn you loose and say, we close at 5, enjoy the ranch until you are done. This is where Jock's car is located. It sure is. Look at that bad boy. Well, there it is. Looks like an old pimp car, which is pretty fitting for this show. Look at that. I'm noticing now that either someone stole the hood ornament or they took it off for filming. I'm not sure, but it's not there. Check out the tiling. They're all tiles of Texas, and then that one actually has the Southfork. Well, my friends, I think we've shown you everything that we can cram into one video for Dallas today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Katie Rudnick, Debbie Jackson, Janine Messenger, and Kara for becoming my newest Patreons. Thank you all for watching. And if you're in the area, you don't have to be a Dallas fan to come enjoy this. It's just a fun experience altogether. Totally worth it. Have a great night from the Southfork Ranch. Goodbye.